Well, good afternoon. It's a really hot day here, and we're doing a very interesting job today. We're doing a circular lawn. Well, it's a circle within a circle with a beautiful weeping cherry in the middle. So we're going to go and have a chat to the customer, and so just follow me around the path. We've just started forking the soil just to make sure there's no pans, so you've got plenty of good drainage and aeration for the roots of the grass. We're going to build the level up. It's just a little bit low. We're going to bring in 2 ton of nice root sown topsoil, so free of weeds, free of any stones 50 mil and above, so nice quality topsoil. And then we're going to lay a really nice turf it's got turf type perennial ryegrass, it's got fescues and bents, a little bit of smooth stock meadow grass, just to give a nice good general purpose grass, but not too labour intensive. Okay, so let's go and have a look, have a quick chat to Michelle. Don't find her. And here she is. It's a beautiful garden. This garden's amazing. And there she is. She's doing her.
I'm just upcycling.
You upcycling?
Well, it's.
Look at that.
What is it? It's a standard lamp.
Standard lamp.
Yeah, one of these jobbies.
Look at that. Look at that. That's a crack of that, isn't
So
it?
I'm just getting dulling it all down.
Oh, nice. It looks good.
Painting.
Looks good.
Yes.
Fantastic. So we've got a good day. A little bit hot. The turf's drying out a bit. We're going to have a look at the soil and the turf in a minute. But we're just going to finish forking out the base of this, and then we're going to have a look at what we've got, and then we'll get some topsoil on, get it married together to the soil underneath. What we're doing is we fork this, and when you add the topsoil, it'll mix in together. We don't want what we call a root break, where it grows through one zone and then the roots grow sideways and they don't get down and you get problems with your grass. Okay, so that's what we're on. See you in a bit. So after a quick level and remove all the large stones and the really hard cloddy bits of soil and roots, we're ready for the next stage to bring the topsoil in. So here's the topsoil, really nice stuff. You can kind of see it, you get an idea of it. Just look at that, beautiful. Beautiful, just breaks up crumbly, good texture. Just run that through your hands, you can feel the sand in it, so it's got a good sand content. Not too much that you got too much drainage, especially with the dry weather we're having. Over to the right we've got the turf that's been cut today, but look at how dry that is. So as soon as we've got it down, we're going to get some water on that. But they're all ready to go, so we'll get some barrowing done. So we've got the topsoil down, or the root zone, and now what we're doing, we're just raking out. So again, rake one way and change direction, rake the other, and you get a good level if you do that. I use a hay rake, which has been cut down to about 1 inch, and it really does blade it out nicely. But this is just a rough level, this isn't the fine level, because what we're going to do now, we're going to heel and toe it, and so this is where we need, probably need a bit of good music on, really. Michelle, can you hit the radio? We'll see what we got. And we may not have the bright music, but we've got to do something. I could have done with having my belt for this. Well, the trousers falling down halfway. Here we go. What we got on the radio. I bet they're talking about Donald Trump or something like that. They want any music. We're going to do a bit of gardener shuffle. So I'm going to. Music's not quite dynamic, but you can have everything. We've got moving. When it comes to doing a circular lawn, obviously with any lawn or any turfing, you want a good edge to it. Now you could try and do all the way around and put sort of little kerfs in it or pleats in it, or cut little wedge shapes out to create it all the way around. And on a big one you might do that. Could even do it on this one, but it would have been quite a lot of work to do that. Maybe wasted a bit of turf. Another way of doing it is to find your maximum diameter. So measure the diameter across, and then halfway we're going to lay a strip of turf across. So that's on the maximum kind of diameter. Could go half and half actually, which would work quite well. I could actually move it back a bit, which I'm looking at this now. I think I might do that. Move it back so we lay the longest strip right across the middle and then work from it. We could go either side won't matter too much actually. Not a lot in it really. But looking there, I could end up with a small piece near that middle bit, so it might be better for me to move the line over a little bit so I end up with quite a good piece joined in, so we haven't got a little thin piece on the sides which is vulnerable. We've also trued the edges quite well, because obviously that's an area where when you're mowing it kind of goes down. If not, some people lay one of these upside down around the edge so that it's got the fibre in it to stop it going down. Then they put a bit of topsoil and then lay the turf. They do that on bowling greens very often. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to move this over. So I'm just going to have a quick look at the size of this turf. Yeah, 60 centimetres. So I'm going to come over 30 centimetres this way, so that then it will be, this will be bang in the middle. So I'm just going to measure 30, move that across, push that into there. So that's going to give me my side, and I'm going to do the same over it, move it across 30. So now that's going to go right across the middle. So let's give that a go, and just get that set up. Pop that in there like that, nice across the middle. Make sure that obviously that it's coming right to the edge. We can trim it down afterwards. So that's there, it's in line, and we can then roll it out a little bit. Just got to spin it around a little bit. Pull that pushing my line out of there. Just around there. Pull that over, and then I'll get my battens. We can start using some battens, so I don't want to squash it down in the middle. I'll just get a couple of little battens. So I've just laid the second turf, and what I do, just use a rake's quite good. Just pull it in, or you can use the back of the rake if you want, and just squash that down in. Obviously use the board to walk on, and stops this all just squashing down. Just going to pop the rake safely out of the way just for a second, and then what I'll do now is I can get my other, pop that there for a second, just get my other batten set up. And once you get your two battens going, you're away. There we go. Pop that over there. Put that on there. For a moment. That's it. And just pop the third one in, then we've got our line across the middle. Just get that set up. Pull that into there. Just try. You can kind of work them together a little bit, roll it out, and then in this case I'll just go around the other side. Actually, could use my little board. This one I'm just going to make sure we've got a good line on this first piece, and the turf's all nice and out. So now I've got that, we can now get our boards. I'll just pull that one in, and we'll get our board set up properly, and then we can kind of get it working how we want it. So I'll just pull that in and just kind of try and dovetail it together a little bit. A little bit of a curve on that. Not bad. Try and marry it in a bit. We're going to top dress it anyway, so that will help. And then we'll do, put the board on, and we'll, here we go. And now we're working nicely from the two boards, and in fact, because we've got the little board, we can utilise that, push that up a bit, and now it's sort of boarding it out and flattening it, marrying it into the saw, and then we can do our next one. On the next one, we'll do a half lap. We'll do a piece that will get cut, and then we bond it in like brickwork. Just have a little look at the size. Have a look at the length of these. You can see they're 160, so 80 centimeters is where we're going to do the cut. Okay, and that is just going to cut it there to give myself a starter. 80 centimeters across there. I'm just going to use a Stanley knife. Could use a half moon, but a Stanley knife is quite good. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use that, cut that. I've got the board underneath. And we'll just cut that in. If you're a carpet layer, you often cut on the other side. Put that in especially for my friend Adam Gore, who's a carpet fitter. Okay. So now we've got that, we've got our half. We can now bond it into there, making sure that we've kind of got a good overlap there, and I can put my next one in, and we're just going to bond it together. Put that in there, just a slight little bit of a maneuver there, pop it in nicely into the, get them married in together, just marry them together, pinch them together, lift it up, marry them together nicely, and then just roll it out. And then we can pull that up nice and tight. Obviously the weather's really dry, so we've got to really make sure we've got our joints nice and tight. And there we go, right down there like that. And that one. Nice and together. That one's nice and together. And now it's kind of just straightforward. Now we'll just carry the bond all that to the edge. Do that side, nice cut with a Stanley knife around the outside, and then we'll repeat it on this side, okay? And then we'll have a look at the top dressing, and then it's going to be water, 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 water and more water for days to come. Now until it's just rooted, until you got the white roots through, then you can ease off. What we're going to do now is a little bit of cutting, just starting to trim around the edge. I've already done the other side, you can see around there we're starting to get a nice clean cut. And what I'm going to do actually is use a Stanley knife for this. It has a little bit of mesh that runs through it to reinforce the turf. So Stanley knife is ideal, probably better than if you use a half moon, you're going to end up pushing it down into the soil and messing up your edge. So in this case now I could run a dial from the centre and do it that way, but because these pavies have been laid and in a, you know, I don't know whether they're a true circle or not. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to follow the pavies. So I just find where the pavie starts and keep the bottom of my knife is actually tight in to the pavia. Okay, so that's how I'm doing it. So I'm actually following the pavia. So I keep my knife in so I can feel the pavia with the bottom of the knife. So when I cut, I kind of, you know I'm on the right sort of track, if you like. So we do that, and what you can do is just have a look where it ends. So it ends here. Okay, so what I've got to make sure is that when I come round, it sweeps round to that end point. When I do that, you can see, there you go, that's got that on that curve. And then when this is watered, we'll you know, obviously do a nice job of it. This will all really knit together really tightly. So again, I'll just do one more. So I can see I'm coming to, lift it up a little bit, so I'm coming to here. That's my marker, if you like. I flip that back just to give me something to aim for. And then what I do just in here, follow the turf, so the bottom of the knife is following that in there. Come round, just keep following that. There's the bit I'm aiming for, so really all I've got to do now is to bring that in, aim for that, come round, and there you go. So there's your turf. Just get rid of that little chipping. Put that back in the pack. Okay, so we're coming to the arts and crafts bit now. So this is the bit where we've got to do a few joints, and where we've got a thin piece on the end, which we could have gone on either side of the line, maybe thinking back to the start. We could have worked that out with a little kind of template, you know, to mark it out. But what we're going to do here now, because we've got a little piece we've got to put in the middle, what I've done, we put the end piece, we put this big piece in, and what we're going to do is to roll this one over the top of it. Okay, so roll that over the top, and what we're going to do here is I'm just going to put the board in there as a little bit of extra to line that up, and I'm just going to run that down here, run the Stanley knife, could put the board underneath actually, even better, and I'm just literally running that down with my Stanley knife, roll that back, roll this back, then hope that that's got it. So that's got Most of it's got to cut that a little bit more there, a little bit. Rag it on, so just on top of there. That's it, that's got it. Just a little bit, sometimes it's a bit of ryegrass actually with the red roots, that's the rye. That is just, there it is, see the red, that's ryegrass. Just holding on a little bit there. So now what I do is I roll the one on top backwards, take the one underneath out, roll it up because we can use that again, pull that to one side, and then all being well, just have a final little with your gloves, just a little bit of a, just to level it out, and that should now meet up perfectly in the middle. Okay, so that's got that all nice and neat. So we're going to do a little bit of boarding up there, a bit of blending, and you can see there's a little bit of a thing there going on, which we need to sort that out. I'm going to lay that on top of there, so we get a decent piece. In fact, it can come right to there, because that's where the curve starts. Okay, in fact, to be honest, what I do first is actually just remove this little piece here and following that round. May as well get rid of it, because otherwise I'll be cutting through two pieces instead of one. So we'll get rid of that. Okay, and now we got rid of that, we can now lay this piece in. We want it to be a strong piece, that's what we're doing. So we're keeping this piece, okay, and we're cutting out here. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to cut that out of there. Going to cut down here. I'll do that. Cut that out there. Around there. Okay, that's okay. So we can take that piece out. So take that bit out of there. It should come out. It can be a bit stubborn at times. Okay, that will drop into there. Let's tighten up a little bit. There's a little bit of tightening up to do, to be honest. And then what we'll do is have a look underneath. It starts there. It ends here. Okay, so we started there. Fold it back just so you can see it. And just run the round like that. And then we'll take that out. And what it's done, it's just filled this little bit of an awkward triangle, but we've still got a decent piece in there. Okay, that's going to come back a bit, a little bit of top dressing in there as well. So we've got all the turf down, it's all cut nice and to the circle. And what you're aiming for is you want to be about an inch or so higher than your edging, so that you can run the mower over and your blades aren't going to hit the edging. So that's the key. So we always end up having turf slightly higher, not much more than that, otherwise obviously it's going to dry out like mad around the outside. So we're going to have to keep that really wet. But what we're going to do now is just top dress. There'll be odd little tiny bits where the turf isn't quite met 100%, so it just needs a little bit, nothing much really, but we're just going to put a little bit on. And what you do is you just get a little bit of this nice Rigzone material, get it in the shovel like that, and then just across the top, just a sweeping action across the top. And we're just going to do that across the line, across the crack. If you've got any cracks that are definite, you can do it in line with the cracks. So say for example here, there's a definite sort of join there. So where the joins are, just take them along the joints. And then what we'll do is we'll get them all nice and brushed in. So it's all done, it's all in. Sprinklers in the middle, just got to pull the board off and then we can let it go. Hit the button, Michelle. Wow.
Right, is that actually getting the lawn?
You
now?
need a good soaking, that's brilliant.
That's got, is that alright?
You know, that's bang on, that's great. And that'll really... So now it's getting an absolute soaking, and just want to obviously check after a while, lift up a turf and see whether it's got into the soil. Just check the depth, because sometimes it can be a bit superficial and you want it really soaking. And when you're watering, it waters in layers. It'll do one layer, then seep through to the next, to the next, to the next. So you have to check the depth. And then probably, I reckon, in about 2 weeks' time, the white roots will be pushing through, and you'll see it rooted well into the soil. Okay, Michelle.
Right.
So there we are. We're done. What do you think? Is it all right?
It's amazing, Max. Thank you so much. I can't believe I've got a lawn after 8 years.
Fantastic.
It's just it's amazing. Thank you.
And you've restored a lamp. Should we have a quick look at that?
Well, you can't.
I'm
'cause
sure
it's
you
not done
want to.
yet.
Oh, it's not finished. Oh, what a shame. So fantastic. So we'll see you next time.